Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond. Sometimes, even from the beyond. Yeah.
I'm out here in the beyond.
You can find us on our new YouTube channel, Terror in Tandem, or online at terrorintandem.com and on Instagram at Terror in Tandem. So many places.
So many places
to find us.
So many faces of death.
We're not hiding. Did you just say Faces of Death?
I did.
Have you ever seen Faces of Death?
Why don't you ask yourself
I have.
that question? Why don't you ask yourself? Say, Richard.
No.
Do you think Laura has ever seen Faces of Death?
Well,
you already have your answer.
I had a very memorable, it was maybe 1996 or 7.
Or 4 or 5.
It was about around that time. So teenage me, my brother,
button.
and a friend of ours, we went to the weirdo local VHS shop. This is before Blockbuster, killed that off. And we rented Faces of Death. And our friend left the room the entire time, would not watch a single moment of it. And it's largely bullshit. I think some of it might be actual news footage, but it's 99% staged. But I didn't know that at the time. So my brother and I remember having watched the movie, we were both very morally conflicted about, did we just watch a snuff film as entertainment?
I didn't watch it. Not interested. Still not.
I should have known it was fake because it's introduced by a mortician named Dr. Gross. But again, I was young, and that didn't clue me in until later. Hi, I'm Dr. Gross. Welcome to Faces of Death. This is totally legit.
Here are all my tales.
Yeah.
Speaking of tales, we're doing October recommendations.
Oh my
aren't
gosh.
we?
It's already
the spookiest month.
It's already October. It's already October.
It isn't.
I mean, it almost is.
It isn't.
It will be soon enough.
Well, we're getting you ready for October.
We're
with this
getting
episode.
you ready for October.
These are our October recommendations.
Welcome,
Oh,
new
God.
listeners. Welcome, old listeners. Welcome, all listeners.
Please don't stop listening. He's not always like this.
That's fair. So, do you want to start?
Sure. I have 4, so it probably makes sense that I start.
Do it.
This is October. This is the scariest month. Of course, I'm going to have more than 3.
Spooky.
So my first is a movie. And it's the only movie on my list.
Ooh.
It's called Totally Killer, and it comes out October 6th. It's directed by Nana Chika Khan, who has done primarily TV shows up until this point. It's a horror comedy, and it's going to be on Prime. It's starring Kiernan Shipka from Mad Men and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Julie Bowen from Modern Family fame.
I know what you're talking about. Yep. Okay, now I know this movie. Yeah.
So it follows the character of Jamie, played by Kiernan Shipka, whose mom, Pam, is dealing with the return of the Sweet 16 killer that terrorized their town when Pam was a teenager in the 80s. Jamie accidentally time travels and returns to 1987 to help take the killer down and prevent some murders. She encounters her teenage mother, and it looks hilarious and weird and nostalgic, and it's totally going to be 80s, totally killer.
Back to the Future horror movie.
It's a Blumhouse production.
Nice.
And it's just going to be a silly time-traveling slasher with those 80s vibes. And I believe it also stars Randall Park.
Oh, great.
I know that it stars Randall Park. I believe maybe as the local sheriff, but I'm not sure.
He has carved out a nice niche of playing the straight man character, the sort of semi-serious but still funny.
Yeah, he can go either way.
Yeah. I always like
I
Randall
think
Park.
it looks really fun, and I'm an 80s nostalgic queen, so
I believe that's been mentioned.
hilarious. And I think the casting of Julie Bowen as Kiernan Shipka's mom is a really great
It is, yeah. And no offense to Kiernan Shipka, who is a real up-and-comer, but whenever anyone says Kiernan, I immediately think Culkin.
Yeah, well,
Can't
as
help
you
it.
should.
Can't help it.
But yeah, it looks really fun, and it's going to come out October 6th, and I said on Prime.
A lot of fun. Awesome. I like having fun. I mean, I like the
do?
idea of it. It's never happened.
No.
I know one day it will.
Maybe. I mean, can I be involved?
I'm sure that
Wait,
if I...
Is it me?
I'm sure that one day if I do experience what
when you're
people
not with me?
call fun, you will be part of it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you'll be there. So
And you're not talking about your funeral.
No. Which, by the way, is going to be a real banger. So I am going to start mine with a book.
Wow.
And it's the only one on my list. Why did you say it like that? Come on, I read all the time.
It's the only recommendation on your list? Just
No,
one
it's the
this
only
month?
book recommendation.
Oh.
The others are, as you might be surprised, movies. So this one, I'm really looking forward to this. So it's Out There Screaming, an anthology of new black horror.
Yeah, we fought over this one.
We did, and it was bloody and violent, and I technically lost, but you took pity. So it's coming at you from Penguin Random House, a totally not evil publishing company, October 3rd. And the kicker here is it's featuring both established and up-and-coming black writers, and it's edited and curated by none other than Jordan Peele, who we all know is a gifted writer himself. Yeah, so very, very excited about this. Now, I'm going to be honest, it features stories by N.K. Jemisin, Rebecca Rowanhorse, Eric Adams, many, many others, and I want to be honest, the only author whose work I'm familiar with is N.K. Jemisin. So I'm excited because I like anthologies. They are a very low stakes way to either enjoy like the universe and the extra work of people you like or discover somebody. And the great part is if you don't like the story, oh no, you wasted 15 pages of your life.
Yeah, you can really find some new authors that you're drawn to and explore more of their works or keep them on like a list for when their other works come out.
Exactly.
And they can end up being some of your favorite new discoveries.
It's the same reason.
Anthologies are great. Don't ever discount them. Or short story collections. They're awesome.
It's the same reason I really enjoy anthology films and I recommend them so often is because it can be horizon expanding. You know, it can just spark that supernova of excited curiosity, and you jump down the rabbit hole of a creator that you haven't experienced before. So Out There Screaming, obviously, that's a fucking amazing
cover
title.
Is incredible.
Yes. Now, by the way, don't judge a book by its cover. I always judge books by their covers.
I don't judge,
no,
but I am drawn to books
certainly
by
has an
their
effect
covers.
on me.
Yeah,
for sure. And we've talked about our love of book art, and especially the lost mass market paperback book art. They really don't have mass market paperbacks anymore.
with
like
the
I said,
raised lettering.
totally not evil publishing companies. But books used to be pretty cheap, and they had like dope embossed lettering that sometimes glowed in the dark on horror books. Stephen King especially. So anyway, Out There Screaming, an anthology of new black horror. Start your month off. Snuggle up next to your burning wicker man and enjoy a good book.
I also have a book recommendation, of course.
Well, the famously more literary of this duo.
It also comes out October 3rd.
We fighting again.
We are. It's like, who's going to be reading which book when? This is by an author that I'm not familiar with, but she seems very... published. Why is that funny?
She seems very published. I hope so.
Well,
the book's coming out.
But it's not just this book. She's got like a lot of books that she's written, but
Understood.
I'm not familiar with her.
Got it.
She is this is post-published.
Yeah.
Her name is Elizabeth Hand.
Hi.
Liz Hand.
Yes.
Got
those Liz hands.
And it's called Haunting on the Hill.
Nice.
And it's about Holly Sherwin, who is a struggling playwright, but gets a grant to develop her play Witching Night. She stumbles across Hill House on a weekend getaway upstate and decides it's the perfect place to develop and rehearse her play.
Oh, sure. Because absolutely no place named Hill House could be problematic or evil.
So Holly's girlfriend reluctantly agrees to join her in renting the house for a month, and then all the actors come, they settle in. The house is a weird house. Creatures stalk
it's on a hill.
outside, and
Yeah.
they hear sounds in the halls, and they don't know time. Like, time is weird.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like a time shift.
Yeah.
And Holly and the actors and her girlfriend start fighting and also try to like figure this house out.
So
and they're not lucky at all.
It's a group of theater kids stuck in a malevolent haunted house.
Not kids, adults.
Sure.
But yeah.
But I call all theater people theater kids. That is amazing because I am a former theater kid myself, and I'm picturing my peers at that
it's
time.
It's a haunted house.
And how we would react to the situation, and it's hilarious.
It's a haunted house. It's a horror. It's probably like people are going to end up dead.
Does singing, like the score of Rent at the
I mean,
Ghost
it's a
have an
playwright,
effect?
not a musical, so I don't think so.
Understood.
Yeah, I think they're more
So just
like
a moving performance
hoity-toity.
of like Long Day's Journey into
They
Night
rent
will
this
do
house
it?
for a month in upstate, and
Yes.
it's a huge mansion.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a little
You guys,
hoi polloi.
we have to put off a perfect Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or we're all going to be possessed.
Yeah.
This sounds awesome.
I know.
It sounds really, really good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So October 3rd, Haunting on the Hill.
That's a great recommendation from, if I may, a great podcast host.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I own that singularly.
That fair.
Let's take a break.
Hold on. I just got to catch up and grab those coattails.
Can you please stop pulling on my coat?
It's the only way I'm going to get anywhere in life. So deal with the drag.
What do you got next?
Oh, wow. I'm really, 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 really excited about this.
Reallys.
I know. This sort of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't really know.
There's another really.
Goodness. Now, this really came out of nowhere, at least for me. So it's premiering October 5th at the Sitges Film Festival in Spain, which is like one of the best horror film festivals, genre film festivals in the world. It's coming out on Netflix October 15th, and this is Sister Death, Hermana Muerte, from director Paco Plaza. Now, if you know Paco Plaza, congratulations. He's amazing. He is one of the co-creators of the Rec series, which had 2 good movies and 2 not great movies. But he also directed the incredible 2017 Veronica, which is also on Netflix. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Veronica as well is Sister Death is a prequel.
Oh, wow.
To Veronica. Yeah. So it's featuring, the evil spirit that terrorizes the young girls in Veronica. By the way, watch Veronica. It's so good. If you're going to watch Sister Death, obviously watch Veronica first. So anyway, the synopsis is, in post-war Spain, Narcissa, played by Almudena Amor, is a young novice, a nun, or like a novitiate, with supernatural powers. She arrives at a former convent, is now a school for girls, to become a teacher. And as the days go by, the strange events and increasingly disturbing situations that torment her will eventually lead her to unravel the terrible skein of secrets that surround the convent and haunt its inhabitants. Yeah, I know, right? Skein of whoever wrote this, give them a raise. That's great.
Alliteration.
The other real pull for this movie is it's written by the great Jorge Gérez Echeverría, and I'm sorry, that's quite a name. It's incredible. So he is a longtime collaborator of Alex de la Iglesia, who is one of my favorites. Is directed everything from the incredible and fun 30 Coins on HBO to Perdita Durango and Day of the Beast. It's just like most of what's come out of Spain over the last 30 years in horror that I've loved has been written by this man or directed by Paco Plaza. So the two of them working together, it's really fantastic. I can't wait. See, it looks amazing. It's these are people who really, really are masters of the genre, and it's again the prequel to one of the scariest movies I've seen in years. So I can't wait. Sister Death coming out on Netflix October 15th.
Awesome. My next recommendation is a video game.
What?
Alan Wake Part 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's coming out October 27th. Now, this version, for those of you that are familiar with the first Alan Wake,
I am.
That was action, adventure, horror themed game, which was it's terrific. It's really fun, especially if you like.
Hope you like flashlights.
Trying to survive and figure things out, like I do. So, Alan Wake Part 2 is a direct sequel to the original Alan Wake, and it follows the best-selling thriller novelist Alan Wake. He's been trapped in an alternative dimension post-car accident for 13 years, and he attempts to escape by writing a horror story, and this one involves an FBI agent named Saga Anderson. So compared to the first game, like I said, it was an action-adventure game with horror themes. This is a survival horror game, and it's told from third person. So players can play as Alan Wake or Saga Anderson. They can play two separate single-player stories, and it can be played in any order they choose.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the opening sequence and ending sequence can be played as Saga and as Alan.
Nice.
So I think it's going to be fun and exciting, and I hope
love
it has
the first game. By the way,
Remedy Entertainment developed
they make
this,
great
so they
stuff.
developed the original. So I think it's going to have the same like visual vibe, and it has a very misty, atmospheric.
Yeah, like Pacific Northwest kind of.
Yeah,
yeah. Remedy Entertainment also did the game Control, which exists. They've sort of built out this universe that they all exist in one of the DLCs for Control, which by the way is a fantastic game.
What I really liked about the original Alan Wake is that you don't really know what's going on until you know what's going on. It takes a while to figure it out, and
he's kind of an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, because he's written this novel, but he has amnesia from the car accident, but he's in an alternative dimension, and so he's finding pages of his original manuscript, and it's starting to cobble together this story of his and what happened. And
well, all of Remedy's games kind of tie together in this way. Like Control features little Easter eggs from Alan Wake.
If you like to solve like little mini puzzles, I mean, you're not going to be going to another screen and solving a cryptograph or cryptogram. Is that what they're called?
A cryptex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, that kind of puzzle. But it's puzzles in the sense that you need to figure out the steps to take in order to get to the next phase of the game. So it's very much figure this part out and then move on to the next part. I really like it. I like these types of games. So I'm really looking forward to Alan Wake at the end of October, October 27th on PlayStation 5.
Nice. I'm absolutely going to be checking that out because I loved the first game, as I mentioned. So my next one.
Is it your last?
It's my last real one, and then I've got a couple quick mentions because, as you mentioned, October's pretty stacked.
Yeah, I have a couple of quick mentions.
My last big mention, it kind of plays off the last one I just said because it is another one written by the great Jorge Guerrero. And it is 30 Coin Season 2. Yay! They actually made a Season 2 to this bonkers banana show. A Spanish horror, drama, telenovela, Catholic Church conspiracy demon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's awesome. Alex de la Iglesias is the showrunner and directs a few of the episodes. Obviously, if you know any of his movies, you know what you're getting into. Weird, surreal awesomeness. I mean, the first season is almost impossible to explain, but I will give it a shot. So now it's about the 30 coins of the title refer to the biblical story of Judas Iscariot receiving 30 silver coins to betray Jesus Christ to the Romans. And, that was his payment. So in the show, the 30 coins are real. And if you possess them, you can, I don't know, take over the world or some shit. So there's this like vast Vatican conspiracy. There's a demon fighting boxer who's also a priest, but he carries a shotgun. There's like a handsome mayor of the town who's in love with his childhood friend, but he's married to this sort of scheming ladder climber. It's just a lot of drama, but also monsters. So season 2 introduces a new villain played by Paul Giamatti, who I believe has resting villain face is the condition he suffers from. Now, Paul Giamatti is playing a character that Alex de la Iglesias described as someone so perverse even the devil fears him. So I'm guessing he plays Paul Giamatti. But I'm really, really excited. It got the returning cast of, Eduard Fernandez, Macarena Gomez, who you might remember was in Stuart Gordon's Dagon back in the day. Of course, everybody remembers that.
That's
I remember.
Right on my accessible memory.
I remember it. Macarena, I remember. So I love this show. And it's just really, really cool to me that in this era where HBO is canceling so many things, 30 Coins got a second season because the first one, it's wild. It's a really fun ride. It's got all of the elements. It's almost like a comic book in a way. And it's something that I believe in lesser hands would be a complete disaster. But because it's handled by such seasoned veterans and experts like Iglesias and Jorge with the last name, it's just great. I can't wait to see the second season. I'm going to gobble this one up. So 30 Coins season 2 coming out on HBO Max in October.
Nom. So my last main recommendation, I saved the best for last. Coming out October 12th on Netflix, a new show, Fall of the House of Usher.
Yes, this was another horrible fight, and you won this one.
Yeah, I did.
Handily. I'm still in full body cast.
Yes, you are, thankfully. You can leave me alone.
Can you please move my straw closer?
So this is Mike Flanagan again. We love him so much. It's his adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe. He's reimagining Roderick Usher's doomed legacy. And Roderick is played by Bruce Greenwood. Listen, you know who he is. He's been around for decades. He's in everything.
And he's one of Flanagan's frequent misfits.
Yes. And so Roderick is confessing his crimes, and those of his family's crimes as well, to see Auguste Dupin, played by Carl Lumbly.
I know. I'm so excited because I don't think Lumley's worked with Flanagan before. No,
No.
he was in Dr. Sleep.
Oh, okay. But
yes.
Carl Lumbly is famously from Alias and lots of other things. But
and the voice of John Jones from the classic Justice League cartoon.
I think that
Love Carl
Bruce
Lumbly.
Greenwood is also a voice on a Batman animated series.
Oh, he plays the voice of Batman in several DC animated movies. Honestly, he's got just a beautiful voice. I want to look up if he does audiobooks because he's got a great voice.
So Dupin is a prosecutor and he's trying to take down Roderick Usher once and for all. And it's this whole show is laid out where it's a conversation between Roderick and Dupin, and he is telling him all of the crimes.
Now, this is Auguste Dupin from Murders of the Rue Morgue.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he's going to feature and talk about his 6 children by 5 different mothers. All of the children's stories are being retold to Dupin by Usher, which might be how I think the episodes will be laid out. Maybe each one is about each child. I'm not sure. The connective tissue between some of Poe's works and this series, Flanagan has said he's featured The Premature Burial, Murders at the Rue Morgue, The Mask of the Red Death.
Oh.
And each episode is named after one of Poe's works. So The Telltale Heart, The Black Cat, The Pit and the Pendulum. I know.
Can't
Did
wait.
you get chills? So excited. And it also stars Katie Siegel, his wife, and very famously in his muse. I'm assuming.
Oh God, she's awesome in everything, especially Hush.
Samantha Slayan, who was in Midnight Mass and was incredible. Raul Coley, he's been in a couple of Flanagan's.
Yeah, he was in Midnight Mass and Bly Manor.
Yep, and Henry Thomas, Carla Gugino. It's the Gweed. And Mark Hamill as Arthur Pym.
Yes.
Which is super exciting. I don't think Mark Hamill is collaborating with
and
Flanagan.
Michael Trucco as well.
Oh, yeah.
I want to mention
Trucco.
Michael Trucco. Also returning Annabeth Gish and Tania Miller, who another 2 of Flanagan's frequent collaborators. I mean, he is the filmatic Stephen King in every way. He's got his regular cast. He's got his returning characters. He's always adapting Stephen King works. It's amazing.
What's exciting is that, you know how we've done the Stephen King deep dive over the past, since we essentially started this pod. So
yeah.
Probably like a year-ish.
That's when we won all the potty awards.
I hope they're not called that.
They are. They're the golden potties.
The mouth potties.
Oh boy.
I want a voice potty. So I think that it's going to be really great, but our podcast, Terror in Tandem team, is going to do a deep dive on Edgar Allan Poe works. So you're going to be blown over by Poe.
Yeah. Here's hope you like dying mysteriously and marrying your cousin. Because he did both of those things.
Is that where Podunk came from?
No.
So I'm most excited about that. It looks like we're going to need to re-up our subscription to Netflix.
Yeah. So we don't
need to.
We don't. Anyway, like I said, it's a stacked month, so I'm going to close it out with 2.
Well, you're not closing it out because
on
I also have another.
On my end. I'm closing out my contribution to this collaboration with 2 quick mentions. Now, Pet Sematary Bloodlines is coming to Paramount Plus October 6th from director Lindsay Anderson Beer. It's her debut. Now, this is the story of Judd Crandall, who in both versions of the movie tells the story of how he buried his dog and he came back. And in the original, it was Herman Munster and Fred Gwynn. And in the remake, it was John Lithgow. So this is his story. So it's a prequel. It's about Judd and his experience. And it's, got David Duchovny. Stephen King said he liked it, and he's pretty famously not shy to tell you that he hates something that if he does.
Yeah.
So
it looks pretty
I don't
violent
know.
And
the thing is we both saw the remake of Pet Sematary, and neither of us quite enjoyed it.
Well, we enjoyed the 35 minutes.
There were
or
some
so.
elements of it that were really, really good, but it just didn't work for me. And Mary Lambert's original, in my opinion, is far superior. So, yeah, this is coming out, but I don't know if I'm really looking forward to it necessarily. The other quick mention, and it might seem odd that this is a quick one for me, is The Exorcist Believer.
Please don't call it.
I can't stop. The Exorcist Believer. Now, this is coming at you from David Gordon Green, October 13th. It's basically what he did with Halloween, he's doing to The Exorcist, where he ignores all the sequels. He says the first movie is the only one that happened. Now, this one brings back Ellen Burstyn, much in the way Halloween brought back Jamie Lee Curtis. Ellen Burstyn is my queen. And it stars Leslie Odom Jr., who is always great, and the amazing and wonderful Ann Dowd. So we've got a great cast. We've got a director that, I don't know, has a mixed record in my opinion. Now, I want this to work. I really do. But I'm quite fond of the original film, as you may have noticed from the episode in which I dedicated my entire segment to it being my favorite movie of all time. And this movie, it's set to kick off a new trilogy. It's the trailer. The trailer just did not do it for me. Whereas the first movie is a very personal and contained film about this, desperate mother and the horrors visited upon her daughter. This one seems to kind of expand the universe and bigger and bolder and more. And
yeah.
I don't know. That kind of isn't what I'm interested in. What I liked about the first movie was it was, like I mentioned, it's such an incredible adaptation and honest, authentic view of how Catholics see demonic possession and the devil. And it was very low, like, while to the audience it was everything, it really was only one girl in one family. This is like something that looks like it could end the world or some shit. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't mean to be a downer, but I'm always wary of movies that are announced as the beginning of a trilogy, and it's like, well, why don't you focus on making a good movie instead of hoping this one makes enough money that you can justify a second one?
I think we should call this segment Adjacent Recommendations because I'm not sure. I'm
definitely going to watch it. I mean, don't act like... Listen, if I sat through The Exorcist 2 and both versions of Exorcist 4, I'm definitely going to watch this. And like I said, I really am rooting for it. I want it to be good. It's got a great cast. And Ellen Burstyn coming back as Chris McNeil is fucking great.
So
but
mine...
I don't know. I just don't know. Please go.
So my adjacent recommendation is Suburban Screams, coming out on Friday the 13th on Peacock. So it's John Carpenter. It's John Carpenter's Suburban Screams.
Oh, okay.
It's an unscripted series, and he's the director, writer, and producer of it. It's described as a genre-busting, unscripted horror anthology that explores dark secrets and unspeakable evil that sometimes lurks beneath the surface of manicured lawns and friendly neighbors of suburbia.
Sometimes?
So
yeah.
I guess each episode is going to tell a true story told by the real people who lived through it.
Oh, my God.
And their firsthand accounts are brought to life through cinematic scene work, news clips, home photos, and footage from the actual news at the time.
Yes. So we're talking like Mary Jo Buttafuoco type shit, like that seedy fucking like my neighbor who is an accountant has a dungeon
probably
in his basement.
Probably murdering and blood and stuff.
Yeah, like John Benet Ramsey, that kind of. It can't happen in our neighborhood. It
and
always
I guess
does.
It sort of combines the like feeling and like language around horror films with the technique of a documentary.
Wow.
So John Carpenter composed all the music, and the cover art, the like art of the show, is amazing. Now, I know, don't judge a book by its cover, but
yeah,
I just think that that's John
very
Carpenter. Good. It seems very of a unique approach to true crime / horror / documentary.
You know that I'm legit terrified of suburbs. Just listen. Here's the thing: you live in the city. The crime that happens to you is some crazy person or poor person or desperate person robs you or beats the shit out of you or something. That is, I get that. The crime that happens in the suburbs is like twisted and fucking, like that weird prosecutor that went to jail for like
I think the scariest part of it is you never know what's going on in
That's the thing. It's always
home.
like the PTA going,
it's the
church going.
Lawns.
Yeah, exactly.
Manicured lawns. Everybody's
that
got
perfect
a nice
facade.
exterior. Yeah. And then it's
a
dark.
Fridge full of heads.
There's sex dungeons too, but I don't think this is going to cover it.
No.
Unfortunately for me.
Why did you get your house foundation reinforced like that? Why did you need such a deep basement?
So it's 6 episodes.
I can't.
You know what I mean? You can check one out, and if you don't like the vibe, then you probably don't need to continue it. But I'm gonna give it a go.
And I've said this before,
but I'm not sure.
But
that's part of what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
It is no coincidence that Jesus Christ and John Carpenter have the exact same initials.
If John Carpenter. But not
Andy
just that, and he is a carpenter.
I mean,
that's
actual
the big part.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one I'm going to mention just really quickly is coming to Netflix in October. I don't think I have the exact date. 19th, October 19th, I believe. And it's called Bodies, and it's an adaptation of the 2015 graphic novel of the same name by Cy Spencer. And it tells the story of 4 detectives in 4 different London eras who investigate the same murder, and they uncover a conspiracy that crosses 150 years.
The source material rules.
Yeah.
And I am actually looking forward to this.
So I'm not sure about it. I will be interested to see how it, actually constructs the narrative together. But, that's something I thought I should mention. Again, Netflix all of a sudden surprising me with a bunch of things that I'm looking forward to and maybe not looking forward to.
Listen, it's got the always awesome Stephen Graham, who's been in everything. And it's also got Shira Haas, who audiences are going to see eventually playing a major role in the next Captain America movie. So she's an up-and-comer. I think she plays Sable, something like that.
So check those ones out or not. But the original recommendations for this October coming attractions, definitely check out. You have movies,
books,
you have books, video games, TV shows.
Hey, what do you want from us, people? Come on.
We gave you everything.
We gave you everything we had. Everything.
All right. Leave your house or don't. I don't care.
Have a great month, everyone. And
wait,
one more thing to look forward to.
recommendation.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
The Terror and Tandem team is bringing you Octerrorfest 2023.
Oh, the return of last year's beloved Octerrorfest.
You all loved it so much. We brought it back for another month.
Yeah, you can stop sending us so much mail, by the way. We're doing it, okay? My gosh.
It's going to be October horror-themed episodes. We're going to give you a couple of bonus-odes. Friday the 13th is a Friday the 13th in the month. We're going to give you a special episode on that day.
It's like leap year for October.
Yeah, it's an Octerrorfest for the ages.
Nice.
Check it out. Check this out. Check us out. Give us a like. Check out YouTube.
Well, and have a great week.
Bye.
Bye. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Sispanik. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're standing right behind you.